On today's episode of the Wild Party Podcast, I'm delighted to share my conversation with Helen Plehn, the founder of Helen Creates Beauty, a business that blends art, spirituality, and wellness to help others live more aligned and authentic lives. Once a corporate interior designer, Helen embarked on a journey of deep self-discovery through meditation, energy healing, and spiritual studies that led her to create tools designed to help people connect to their higher purpose. We talk about her personal evolution, her solo art gallery openings, and her commitment to ethical business practices. This episode is full of wisdom about overcoming fear, honoring your gifts, and building a business that reflects your soul. If you've ever wondered how to align your inner world with your outer work, this is the conversation for you. Let's get the party started. Welcome to the Wild Party Podcast, where we celebrate the visionaries behind vegan, ethical, and sustainable business. In each episode, we'll dive deep into their journeys, uncovering the why behind their mission-driven business. I'm your host, Stephanie Lahart. Tune in with me for passionate discussions about overcoming challenges, innovative marketing strategies, and the power of using business as a force for good. So whether you're an entrepreneur seeking guidance or a conscious consumer wanting to support impactful brands, join us as we explore the stories behind the businesses that are changing the world for the better. Let's get the party started. Today's show is going to be a little different. I am excited to welcome someone whose journey is as inspiring as it is transformative. Helen Plehn is the founder of Helen Creates Beauty, and it is a business that blends art, spirituality, and holistic wellness to help others live more aligned and intentional lives. And I think it's so important that we not only work on transforming the world around us, but we also, transform what I call the interior world, like the world that is inside our bodies and inside our minds, because once we have that interior wellness, we can truly bring wellness to the world. And I know Helen agrees with me. We've already talked about this. So with that said, Helen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for hosting me and shedding light to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because you asked me a couple of minutes ago, you said, how did you find out about me? And it's funny, it was through a PR connection, but I have to say, when they brought up your name and told me about your business, it was an immediate yes for me because, having this information to be able to have this internal transformation is so important. And I think in a lot of ways, we kind of gloss over that. People seem to always be chasing the business, chasing the money. But, as they say, it's really an inside job. So, tell us a little bit about your journey, Helen. I know you came from a corporate America. In fact, you were a corporate interior designer. So how did you get on this path that is now centered on art and spirituality?
Yeah, definitely. So to make a long story short, the Helen you see today is, I call myself Helen 5.0. We are always in an evolution journey, right? So and I'm always purpose driven at this point. So before I was a corporate interior designer, I was actually a PhD student, not knowing what exactly I want to do, just go straight through to PhD because I was born and raised in China, and then high school in Hong Kong, came to the US for higher education. So I was living through my parents and society expectation of me. There was no okay, education, just go straight through. And then it was 2011. I was almost graduating. I finished all the courses. I published 3 academic peer review journals. So people think, oh, Helen, you're so successful, right? And at the time I was engaged. From the outside world, everything looks perfect, right? And then I had deep anxiety and depression, 2011. And that was my first wake up call. I begin to really ask questions like, who am I? Why am I here? And how can I be really happy? So from the external world, everything looks perfect, but I wasn't happy deep down. So I was frequent, therapist offices, and And then they were like, "You are such a free spirit. Why were you in a PhD program doing statistics, doing data crunching, and because they have all these evaluations, of me." So I was like, I was very perplexed. So that year it's also my first year doing yoga and meditation teacher training. I was drawn to a yoga studio close to me. At the time, I was in Philadelphia. It was one of the oldest yoga studio, and I did a group meditation class. I was crying like a baby. Oh my gosh! It just opened it changed my perspective, from the world so much, and I fell in love with meditation. And actually, meditation, I would say, become my medication to anxiety and depression. Literally, within 3 months, I do it every single day. For 3 months, I was able to taper off my anxiety med, because at the time it was real bad. And then about 6 months in, I was completely off medication of anxiety and depression, and I was like happy as a clam. I'm like, this has something to do with me. And then at the time, the yoga studio of the yoga meditation teacher training has Vedic astrology, Ayurveda as sister science, combined with yoga and meditation. So I did a Vedic astrology reading, not knowing even know what it is at the time. And the Vedic astrologer told me that your dharma this lifetime is to create. So dharma is a Sanskrit word for purpose. I'm like, how do you know? Like I didn't even know myself. Like, how do you know so much about me? He said, Helen, it's all written in the stars. So that's the doorway to open up another door that I never, from academia world, I never dreamt of. That was Helen 1.0. And from then on, professionally, I'm like, okay, I really want to pick up my childhood dream to become an architect. I really want to become an architect, interior designer when I was a kid, but in Chinese culture, it wasn't encouraged because, you might get starved, you might not make enough money, it's not prestige enough, whatever. So I dropped all that, that's what I want to do. So I went back to school because I moved to California and it's required a license to practice as an interior designer. Went back to school, get my second master's degree. While I'm studying, I was interning at a firm already. So it's gradually transitioned into corporate America. So that's what professionally gets me. And I was, at the time, it was starting point was fulfilling. And the funny thing is, by the time they want to promote me as a project manager, it steered me from the creativity part. It becomes more managing people, timelines, and things like that. I'm like, I don't like it as much. And then my baby came. So that's my first trial, 2015. I gave birth. That was another pivotal event in my life. I'm like, okay, this is time for me to start something on my own that I can set my own schedule. And at that point, I was spiritually also growing, it's kind of side by side. I did a certified crystal healer training, and also I was very deep down into 6 different self-discovery methods. So besides Vedic astrology, I also study Western astrology, human design, Genie keys, Enneagram, numerology. Using the same PhD mentality, I always go to the founder who founded this branch of knowledge. How can I dig really deep into it? And I think my expertise is actually in synthesizing all of these. It sounded like a lot, but they all have commonalities. And that's what I'm good at, finding out the core. Until this day in my business, I actually use this base knowledge as readings to tell people, here, this is literally your purpose. That's one foundation of how I developed the Aura Color Wheel. So that was once I founded my first interior design business it was I want to incorporate feng shui because I am actually a third generation feng shui master. I did not go to school for it because I live and breathe that because since I was born, because my dad would tell me that, oh, we cannot put this in the south corner because it's a fire corner. Don't put water feature there. So because I just grow up with it, right? But I just like forgot about it, chasing all the, the society want me to mold me in. And then I just want to get back to that connection. And also, he was also a traditional Chinese painter and calligrapher. So I get back, pick up my paintbrush and doing some painting at the time. And when you rise, at that time, I was already quite in alignment with my soul's purpose because I'm an artist, soul gift archetype. So I'm really close and the universe started to open doors. It's very funny. Like I don't need to chase at that point. I don't need to chase anymore. Before I forming my first business, signing those paperwork and all that, my first client sold up. She is a wedding gown bouquet boutique, like a showroom owner. She said that I really like your vibe. I met her at an event. She said, I really like your energy. I don't know why, I just like it. What do you do? And I'm like, I'm a feng shui interior designer. I didn't even have my business card yet at the time. So like, okay. And then I just started. So I was very honest with her, She said, oh, I want to be your client. I just started my showroom. It sells wedding gowns. Do you want to come and take a look at it? That's it. I still remember, I don't know how much to charge. I still remember that was my first check, 2,500. That's how much I charge her based on the square footage, right? And that's like, okay, so this is the door. And then it kind of rolls out from there, clients from word of mouth, her friends, and then it's friend of another friend and things like that. So that was my first taste of my first business. And from there, it's pretty organic because I was drawn into, colors and painting a little more. So then because I also do feng shui interior design, is like how I combine them together is that I custom design patterns for my client to complement their energy. For example, if you're born with a fire element, I will design like a pink peacock pattern, for a drapery or a wallpaper or, pillowcases and things like that. So I use my painting, my artwork on certain product, but custom make for them and then make them really happy. So then, so it's a natural transition that I become an artist. And my spiritual awakening comes in 2018, 2019. I would say that was my kundalini awakening. That's after my 7 years of daily meditation. Remember, I like meditation so much. It's my first priority. I get it done, like brushing your teeth. I don't want to skip it. I literally schedule with time brushing teeth. Every day I set the alarm. That's my morning medicine, right? So for 7 years, I never stop. I literally do it every single day. And I didn't know I'm going to get a kundalini awakening because I wasn't this indigo child, born with this gift and everything. But my third eye was wide open, meaning that I can see spirit realms, energies, so-called auras. So people, it's around all living beings, plants, animals, anything that's living has a certain energy. So I can perceive that through my third eye. Now that's my game changer. So the spirituality realm, coming in, becoming, to channel the aura color wheel system to help others to identify their soul's purpose with this system, as well as offering spiritual courses to help people do exactly what I'm doing, to really living my purpose with joy and fulfillment and healing, energy healing. All of these comes in with my, kundalini awakening. So now I combine the two realms of art and spirituality into my business. So that's the Helen that you see today. It's a little bit long. I hope I didn't bore you, but I did, went through a few chance or iteration of myself.
I love that you broke it down like that. You're like, I am Helen 5.0 at this point. I love that because I think we all go through so many different iterations of ourselves and, we don't always acknowledge them. In fact, I recently said to a friend of mine, I'm like, sometimes I think back on, experiences I had maybe in my 20s, and it's almost like a different person experienced them. And then I thought to myself, it was a different person. Like, I'm
Oh,
not that
yes.
person anymore. That was literally, I don't know, Stephanie 1.0, right?
Here
Here
we
I
go.
am
Yeah,
now in my
yeah.
50s. I'm a totally different version of myself, like you having these different experiences. So, first of all, let me say, I laughed when you said that originally uh, discovered yoga in Philadelphia because I am from Philadelphia. So I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh,
Here
that's
we go.
funny. So
Philly,
you
yeah.
said the oldest yoga studio is there. I have to go check that out. I'm like, really? I had no idea because I didn't even discover yoga until I moved to LA. And the
Oh,
first yoga I discovered was kundalini yoga. I'm like, oh
yeah.
my God, Helen, you and I have so much in common. Now, let me first say this. Do you often get this reaction when you sit there and tell people kind of what you're about and what you're offered? Do they immediately say, please do me next? Because I had that feeling when you're saying all this, I'm like, where do I sign up? Where do I sign up so you can give me Stephanie, the roadmap for Stephanie 6.0 now? Because it really resonated everything you were saying, Helen. I love your journey. Thank you so much.
Oh, yes, yes.
So, with that said, I also love that the statistician in you knew that you had to pull all of these elements together in order to package them as a business in order for it to really be a truly powerful offering to people. Because again, on my journey, I've met so many business owners that they really don't know how to put these different elements together where it becomes something that a person can understand how it can be transformative for them, whether it is a product based business or whatever. So, when people go now to your website, which is Helen Creates Beauty, you have so many different offerings. So tell me, how do you first start working with a client? Like, where do you approach it? Like, you meet me at an event or even at I don't know, on the street, and you start telling me a little bit, and I get very excited and say, Helen, I want to hire you. Like, how do we start working together? What does that look like?
Actually, right now, I literally asked them to take my quiz. There is a Soul Oracle quiz. It's a fun quiz to do. I think it's everything begins with self-awareness. So no matter what the client needs, whether we are a good match to work together and from which angle, it really depends on what this particular soul needs right now. As I mentioned, it's an evolution journey. We're just on a different steps on the way, right? So after you've taken the quiz, I kind of understand, what type of soul or gift archetype are you, right? And also I will figure out, whether there is any lessons or wounds there to heal. And then I will ask, and also depends on at the stage of awareness or conscious level, like are they more interested in healing work, or are they more interested in purpose work, like how can I be fully embodied? So or like there was like private healing sessions or like courses that I designed to help you, follow a roadmap, as you said, to your success. Or you are more interested more like on the art side, because some people just like me like aesthetic. They might not be spiritually ready to get to that point. They will be like, oh, I just like your aesthetic. For example, I want a custom painting from you, or I just like a crystal grid painting. So my art, of course, because my third eye is open, a lot of them are channel. So I do the two most popular product. If they come in from an art angle, I would say that you can either check out my crystal grid painting to manifest your intention. If you are an entrepreneur, you want to manifest your success, I can identify the corner. I will do a feng shui birth element reading for that particular soul. So literally a Bagua reading for you. So I literally will know which direction is your feng shui abundance direction for manifest a business. Then I will create a crystal grid with this soul's intention in mind and put it around there to manifest their intention. Or you can do a portrait of you, but with a soul flower and soul aura color as a background. So that's more like of my art offering. But like healing and spiritual growth and soul purpose, you can find like online courses. So but the gateway point, I always ask them to, take the quiz. It's free, it's fun, takes you 5 minutes, and you figure out who you are.
Well, that is so helpful because, like you said, we when we're born into this world, we already have so much put upon us, even as babies, about expectations and the roadmap, that is ahead of us. In fact, I just had a grandniece born a couple of months ago. So it's my niece's first little, child, a little girl,
Mhm.
and it's so funny just hearing my family interact with her and just even strangers, like they see a picture or they meet her in person and they'll say something like, "Oh, she's going to be this," or "She's going to," and they're already like putting on her what they think she should be or how she should react. Or, "Oh, she doesn't smile enough. She's not a happy baby." Or, "Oh, she does this." And you're just like, she just got here. Like,
That's right.
let her develop as a person and explore it. And I feel like, the world can in so many ways like kind of crush our spirit before we even start. So I really love that you were able to, be able to start experiencing and then really, branch out and build your own interior world then to bring it to the exterior world. So you mentioned your art so many times. If anybody is watching this on video right now, you'll see that Helen has all these really beautiful flower paintings behind her. So I have to ask her, are these your paintings?
Yeah, those are all my paintings. And because actually I just had a solo art gallery soul opening literally this past Sunday. So all my signature paintings are on there now. So literally these are, some of them. But I'm proud of all my artwork because I see color, because I can see aura. So color to me is a very vivid and conveys a lot of emotions. So that's why I use them as tools to express my emotions. And actually, I actually happen to have a printout. This is one of the pieces that I most proud of that I just recently created through my meditation vision. So you see, art and spirituality in my offerings, they are never separated. So it's just like an extension. Actually, they're both my extension of my soul. So that's why authenticity comes through. It's so important when you mention that it's so much expectation and standards that put upon us how success should look like, how this should look like. I think every soul should have their own definition. What it means to you to be successful. It's not one mold fits all. So what I'm so grateful about this journey is that I put down all of this. I unlearn, let me put it that way. I unlearn of all this and really learn myself. So there is a model that I go by right now. It's also in my book, actually, the Aura Color book with my Hay House Publishing. It's by Lao Tzu. It says, knowing others is wise, knowing yourself is enlightenment. So from a soul level, we are all light. We are like light bulbs, So why it's called enlightenment? It's literally embodying your light. That's when you truly feel fulfilled, truly feel happy. And during my entrepreneurship journey, I almost lost like a few times. And about self-worth. If you are an entrepreneur, you know how important this concept is. But if you can really find your true self and do your offerings, through that, no matter how many it is, people will resonate. So the business will flow. So that's how I view it now in my business.
I love that you just mentioned Hayes House. I'm very familiar with that publisher. They've published a lot of different books that I'm very into. And actually, specifically, I got very involved in the whole Abraham Hicks world a couple of years ago, which
Yeah.
just changed so much for me because I didn't grow up in that kind of household where, let's just say, alternative forms of spirituality were available. It was I grew up in a very traditional kind of Catholic household. And then when I moved to LA and started learning that there were these other things available to me, I was amazed because I was like,
Yeah.
this speaks to me on so much of a deeper level. So like everything you're saying, I'm like, yes, 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 I totally get this. And, again, it's like really developing that interior world in order to live a happy, I guess, exterior world. And with that said, you did mention in the beginning that, growing up in a very traditional Chinese family in China, there were a lot of expectations on you for success. So you go the statistician route and, get a PhD and everything. But you did mention that your father was into calligraphy. So did your dad also have like kind of this secret artistic yearning that maybe he just, was only able to devote a little bit of time to? Like, do they support you now seeing what you've built and who you are? Or do you have to still explain to them that, no, this is a business too, and I'm successful at it?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to that Hay House example because when I channeled the system, at the time I had no idea. I was like, it's going through a spirit team. It's a spirit guidance. They literally told me that I'm going to publish a book with Hay House, and I never subscribed their email newsletter. But there was a week, all of a sudden there was like a writers community. Hey, do you want to join? Do you want to publish with us? So I say like, okay, this is universe invitation. So yeah, yeah, I know Esther Hicks' work, but it's just that's the world, the new age spirituality. That's where I was in, and it brought me so much growth. So I was just so honored that. And but it happens naturally. Instead of at the beginning, I thought about writing a book. I'm like, oh, I need to find the agent. I need to do this. I need to do like a hamster wheel using my mind, right? So once I stopped, I let that ego go. I just let it flow. Things flows. I just want to add that little. It's just something magical that I still cannot get over with. All of a sudden there was an email in my mailbox. I cannot decline it. Right? It's crazy. But going back to your question, first of all, my father has passed. But I channel his spirit all the time. He's one of my spirit guides. So my mom is still with me here. I'm the only child. So although, a lot of my new experience is hard to explain to her, fortunately is that I did not grow up religious, meaning that I don't have a particular dogma or a particular type of religion, that path I need to follow. So I'm pretty open, by that. And my father was throughout a painter and a calligrapher and artist. However, because of the society's pressure, he himself was not able to do it fully. But he was very talented. He entered some competition and contests and won a lot. And his art was actually still exhibited in some of the museums today, even in Japan, and also in China, of course. So he was becoming successful as a hobby artist. And that's when he started his own school. He really loves children. So he started his own school to teach kids. And I was always sitting in the back of his classroom when I was little. So he started, but he knew how hard it was, the journey for him. That's why at the beginning, he didn't want that for me, because it's really hard. He started as a good, it's a good intention, but just like, maybe wrong action, right? So from my standpoint, but I understand from his perspective, he doesn't want me to do the tough route. But for my mom, she knew that I'm successful now. She just knows I'm bringing money. So all the details, that it might not, it's not that soul's understanding that she might not fully grasp, like, what is spiritual awakening, like what is kundalini, might not be knowing everything, but she knew that I'm an author, I'm a public speaker, and I do art, and that's all she knew. That's enough. So that's where it stands right now.
So she's supportive and she's happy that you're doing well. And that is good to hear. Again, she's lived her own life, and I'm sure there's been a lot of pressure on her as well to do things in a certain way. So, I do believe our parents just want the best for us. My
Right.
parents as well, they are also very confused about my life. They're always wondering if I'm okay. Definitely when, it was clear that I was going to be an entrepreneur, I did get a lot of suggestions, I will say, of like, well, why don't you just get a full-time job? And I
Yeah.
did try
Oh,
that. And
yes.
I was very miserable. In fact, I was never more miserable than when I had one of those six-figure jobs that everybody's going for. And I would look around my office and I'm like, I feel like I'm dying inside. Like I couldn't wait to get out. I would count the hours down. So much
Yeah, I
happier
I
in my role
totally
now.
resonate. That was me when I was in my PhD program. And although I do statistics, my PhD program was already a little bit funner. It's tourism and hospitality management. So I was doing research on sensory design. For example, like in Disneyland, how can I use smell, taste, sound, and touch, all of these elements to retain customers? So it's kind of linked to the psychology and social work background. It's still kind of interesting, but I still don't like doing the publish or perish. You know what I mean, like and then like you have to have a certain office hour, you have to sit here for a certain amount of time. I'm like, yeah, I finish my thing. I like to study, but I don't like to be controlled. So that's the free spirit of me coming out. And as I was talking to you, I can tell you are full thorough entrepreneur. Go take my quiz. You will find it really fun. That's your soul gift archetype. If you're born this way, look, like, to be honest, like, after so many years, it's been almost 20 years at my entrepreneurial journey. I can honestly say, it's also in my book, all of our purpose here, this lifetime in general, is literally to evolve. But like, okay, so if we need to evolve, we're going to change. What is the path, to success, the true success, the fulfillment? It's literally, follow your soul's path. If you are born in a certain, it's like written in the stars, right? Vedic astrology said it's written in the star. You born. Why do you choose to come in this world in this specific second of the time? It says something about you, right? And so that's why I'm like, once you know, oh, this is where I was born, like this is where I'm supposed to be. But look, the cool thing about the oracle wheel is that it's not said and done. It's not like, okay, I'm born this, I'm this forever. Oh, no, no, no. Because once you learn a lesson and once you heal a wound, a core wound of yours, you're going to evolve in a different archetype. I'm seeing you shifting into visionary. Like after you become one, you're going to become another. So it's like that's what gets so interesting, right? It's like you're never the same thing. You can become like the funny thing is I was born an artist. I'm shifting towards entrepreneur and teacher. I can tell, that inner. So that self-awareness, it's the most key to align, like a aligned soul, because that way you're healthy, you're happy, and you once you're healthy and happy, the opportunities and synchronicities, you attract that. You don't, just like the law of attraction, you attract the right people in your life. You don't need to chase that much. It's literally do less but achieve more. I did not understand that before. Now I do. I'm like, I wish I had known so that I don't need to work like a horse, burn out, and I need to go through all of these to know that, okay, this is the magic. If I really know myself, if I really know what I want, how I want to be, and I can just attract that. Wow, that's amazing. That's something I'm still like be amazed of what the work that a lot of spiritual teachers putting out there.
Yeah, you said it so beautifully. I mean, a lot of times we feel like if we don't do what is considered hard work,
Mhm.
do the struggle, then we're never going to achieve what we want. So a good example is when I decided to launch this podcast, I had this idea. I really wanted to be able to uplift people in what I consider the compassionate, sustainable, ethical businesses, right?
Mhm.
So and the way I first started getting guests was I went to an event called the Vegan Women's Summit. I met a few people and I started booking a few guests, but it was hard. The outreach of getting people to be on a podcast, first of all, that was brand new, was very hard. And I did the first 6 months and it was a lot of work just getting people booked. And I was thought to myself, I don't know if this is something that I'm necessarily should be doing. I think maybe I'm just burning too much energy. And then I had a very close friend of me remind me of something. She goes, you know, this client you used to work with, he actually has this email list, and you could put out a query on it to get podcast guests. Like, why don't you reach out to him? And I said, oh, okay. But something inside me held back. And I know what it now was. It was the fear of success, really, because I
Yes.
sat there and I waited over 4 weeks to contact this guy. He was somebody I had done great work with. We had a great relationship. 4 weeks later, I finally reach out to him and I say, hey, Peter, I want to put a query on your list. It's called Source of Sources for my podcast. He's like, absolutely. We put it out there, and Helen, within 24 hours, my podcast was booked for the year. I have so many guests now. I have to start publishing more shows. I have to start doing like bi-weekly. I literally got the success that I had been sitting there saying I wanted, but it was only me holding back. I knew this person, I knew he had this resource, and I waited 4 weeks to contact him.
Oh, I
Like,
love
how
this
crazy was that?
self-digging. Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, no, it's very authentic. And that's funny. Fear is actually the number one lesson for most of our souls need to learn. Most of us, like, just so you know, like from an energy standpoint, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the chakra system.
I
Fear
am.
stores, okay, so fear stores in the red aura layer, powered by the root chakra. And a lot of them actually comes from our ancestors or collective wounds that we are not even aware of. It's in our subconscious mind, like our primal mind, right? So once we get that block away, it's just allowing. You need to allow yourself to receive. You need to, like that was beautiful. That was beautifully said. So that's exactly, like why I'm teaching people to actually work on themselves instead of working on the external world. And yeah, some of my students actually literally email me like right before our podcast. That was funny. I just received an email. In the Radiant Aura Activation course, she's following the 7 steps that I lay out to embody her soul gifts. She's also has a lot of fear. She's a professional dancer, a lot of competition, so you can think it's really, really hard to make it to that world. And she was auditioning to LA Opera. So it's not an easy role. But she did it. It's just so resonate with your story. It's because of the fear that she was holding her back. And she used all the tools. I told her that just work on your root chakra. Just work on your root chakra. So don't worry about, she's like, oh, I worry about, I say, don't think of anything. Don't even think that you have a role to apply for. You're not doing anything. You're just working on your own energy. And once that block clears out, the sky's the limit. It's like, wow, she's radiant. And actually, that's my purpose. I really, this is my heartfelt purpose, like why I'm having Helen Creates Beauty today. I literally want to see 1 million souls before I passing. That goal is set by 70. I want to see 1 million souls ascended, like shining their light bright. There was no fear, there was no anxiety, there was no depression, there was no lack, nothing. Because there was enough, there was more than enough for every soul. So I literally like using my math, I map it out. So it's a possibility. It's not just like I'm saying 1 million souls. Because I have a webinar that I offer pretty much every other week. And I have about like 1,000 people to 2,000 people sign up. If I keep on doing it until I pass, so I think hopefully this goal will be achieved. So people can live courageously so that they can be fulfilled and happy. That's my goal.
That's so true. I love that. And I love that you already, because being the statistician background, you're like, I can break down the numbers here. If I do this 1,000 this time. So was that the course that we were talking about right before the show started? That was your master course?
Yes. So I offer the Radiant Aura Activation course. So that one is on my website. It's like a evergreen, you can sign up to get a taste of the Aura Color Wheel system. How can it help you? And if you want to experience me live teaching, just see, if you like what I'm teaching, the content, if you resonate and things like that, I offer a live webinar, so live masterclass called Unlock Your soul purpose with the aura color wheel every other week. So it's completely free. It's my service, I want to provide to the world. I want people to know how to use this system. So it's about 90 minutes. It's completely free. We also do a meditation. And actually at the end, if you participate in live with me, I pick audience from the live audience to do a spirit message reading. So I also channel. So like Esther Hicks, I'm doing trans channeling. So I channel their spirit guides and relay any messages they need to hear right now. That's always the favorite part. They're like, wow, that's cool. So I also offer this spirit message reading as an evergreen thing there. It's not that expensive. So if you're interested, you can check that out. But yeah, a free course and then a course with small investment that you can go through. But if you really want to deep dive, like you think you are ready, I only offer the last course I offer is once a year that I literally teach online, like every week for 10 to 12 weeks, where I do live coaching. It's almost like live group coaching at the same time. So it's in September. So these are the sequence, kind of the stacks that I offer, a free course, see if you like me, and then a teeny, like a small bundle of what the Aura Color Wheel can help you with on your own, with a Facebook group question. You can ask me any questions there. And lastly is that full-blown, live course where I'm literally doing group coaching. And a lot of hundreds of students already, have finished this course and transformed their life. And I always welcome that whoever is willing to talk to potential, like other students, they can do that so that they can know, what's the transformation that has done for them. This is literally my soul's purpose this lifetime. So I'm like, and I want to do it also. It's very important. I know you are a big fan of sustainability and ethics. That for me is also very important because it's the law of karma. So literally, if I want to walk the enlightenment path, I don't want any negative karma associated with me with any unethical, like something that's not true, I wouldn't say it, right? So that's how a longevity of a business, the business has a soul as well. When you create it, if you do a birth chart for your business, it has its own purpose, literally. So your podcast, it have its own purpose, right? So you don't think you're just running. Everything is living, and we're co-creating and dancing. So if you are interested in checking out, do the quiz, definitely at least order the book. It's only like $18. It's mind-blowingly, the system has a lot of depth, so it's hard for me to just tell you in 5 seconds, because it's literally 9 soul gift archetypes and 36 soul aura colors, and it maps out the evolution path. Like once, for example, you were mentioning that once you heal your fear, because if you don't mind my saying that, I see your main color is lime, so lime green. So literally the background is very similar to the background color you chose. Yeah. And that's an entrepreneur soul gift archetype. And you are moving towards visionary. So that's why, once you heal the red aura layer wound, like that particular fear is gone, now you get that becomes your gift. You see, you're almost like, hey, it's almost like you're upgrading. You play the role play games. It's like, okay, now I upgrade. So now you become a different versions of yourself. So that to me is like totally worth $18 to get to see where my map goes. Go out, you know what I mean? It's like just so fascinating. Even myself find it enchanting when I'm channeling it. I was just so grateful that I get this vision. So I don't want to sound, too esoteric and just scare away other people. But look, I'm from a scientific background, right? I'm not born like an indigo child or anything. Even I can completely I won't say flip, but I find this is really resonating from an emotional and energy level, like intuition level. Mm-hmm. It's not intellectual, but it's in very intuitive, right? So if you resonate with it, give it a shot.
Well, I love that you pointed out the color of my background too, because the funny thing is green has been my favorite color my entire life. Even when I was younger, it was always green, green, green. And if you would look around my apartment and my office, it's literally everything is green. It's way too much green almost, but it's the
Wow,
color for me.
okay.
And also I'm a big gardener. So having plants around me, making sure things are blooming, incredibly important to me, which is why the photos or the paintings of the flowers behind you immediately, I was like, oh my God, I love that because I love to see stuff bloom.
So if it is okay, like, do I have your permission to do like a little reading? Like not spirit message reading, but I'm just like the colors in terms of like, because I can't help when you mention about you love gardens and blooming and all that. I also see emerald green in you.
Yeah.
That's also a healer aspect of you, that you are a very compassionate person. So you have a lot of power in your heart chakra. I see like all kinds of green, it's like emerald green from the healer side, lime green from the entrepreneurial side, and literally forest green. That's where you're heading towards in the visionary side. So I'm like, that's why when you mentioned you love green, I'm like, yeah, I got it. I just love it. Like when this, my intuitive read and what you explain, what your story is kind of in alignment. I love that.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, well, good. Then you just totally validated the fact that my entire world around me is green and different shades of green. Because as I'm looking around,
Yeah,
I'm like,
there
yes,
are different
my
shapes.
my couch actually is a dark forest green.
Hiko.
Yeah, the
See,
walls
that's the
around me are
forest
kind
green.
of like this, like it's almost like my background, really, which is really funny. Yeah, it's my life is green.
Wear more green, actually. That's
We're
going to
more green.
accentuate your soul gifts. That's going to bring out your soul gift, attract you even more opportunities. I'm glad.
That's funny because I have one green dress in my wardrobe and I have a green t-shirt. I don't have a lot of green. I need to get more green.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe begin to wear like jade, that you mean like emerald, like that type of crystals or green jewelry, in
Yes.
general. Ideally it's natural stone. I never want to go with, man-made stuff. So it will be great. I think those will really, really help you.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the stones because I'm born in August, so I think my gemstone is supposed to be a peridot. It is, and it's green.
Peridot, yes.
And
Here
it's
we
green.
go. Here we go.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should just put all this in the show too. That's very funny. Yeah, so I totally forgot my gemstone is a green stone. It's peridot. I'm
Yeah.
August 20.
Leo, right? Leo sun.
Leo sun.
Yeah, you're very much so. I'm Leo rising, so I can also tell. Well, I can talk with you about this. I can geek this out for hours.
Give us your website really quickly where people can find you because I know that they're going to be excited to check out more information about you and to take that quiz, which I know I'm going to be taking. So where can they find you online, Helen?
Definitely. It's helencreatesbeauty.com. And pretty much everything that I offer is on my homepage. And you can begin your journey taking the quiz.
Absolutely. And you are truly creating beauty in this world. And I thank you for it. And I can't wait to see where your journey takes you next. And hopefully we'll meet up and be on it together. So thank you again, Helen. It has been a
Yeah.
joy to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Wild Party Podcast. If you're an entrepreneur or professional who would like to be on this podcast, please visit boomtownmarketing.com and click on podcast. We believe that every business has the potential to change the world for good, and we want to support our community to help make the world more ethical, compassionate, and sustainable for all future generations to come. And if you're looking to build your business, no matter what level you're at now, request your free marketing consultation at boomtownmarketing.com and click Get Started.